Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. We are continuing right along in our Budget Precision 223 series. I got the Thompson Center Compass rifle in 223 all set up, shot some fire forming loads. In the last video, we took a look at sizing with the Call It Sizer. We also did some case prep, some case trimming, chamfering, cleaning primer pockets. In this video, we're going to finish off the precision loading sequence. We're going to do some priming on the press and off the press. We're going to do some charging, and then we're going to seat bullets. So what I want to do is show you multiple ways to do some of these steps using the equipment that's supplied in the LEE Deluxe Challenger kit. And in the end, we're going to have ammunition that we can perform load development with. I'm going to shoot some precision groups in the next video. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's dig straight in. So I'm going to start by getting this nice rifle out of the way. Set that aside. So we've got two different options for priming here. We can prime on the press, which I didn't show in the last video because we're going to do some of our priming with the LEE Auto Bench Prime. It's really your choice. We'll start with priming on the press. So priming on the press is really simple. The LEE Breech Lock Challenger press comes with two primer levers, small and large. I've got the small primer one here. We just drop that right on, and then it's going to pivot each time we come down with the ram. That means that while we're sizing, we can throw a piece of brass into the shell holder, and then at the top of the stroke we can place a primer, and then when we come to the bottom, that primer is inserted. It has a good feel, and you can incorporate it right along with your sizing process or do it separately. So we just need to get the primer set in the cup, push down slightly on the lever, and we're set. But if we want to prime off press, we have the LEE Auto Bench Prime as a part of the LEE Deluxe Challenger kit. Let's see that tool in action. So I've actually got a complete in-depth blog post and video covering the LEE Auto Bench Prime in detail. The LEE Deluxe Challenger kit comes with the Auto Bench Prime unit set up for large and small primers and the shell holder kit that's going to cover most popular handgun and rifle chamberings that you'd want to prime here. So all we do is insert a piece of brass into the shell holder and then press down. Does not take much force. Really quick to use. Probably has the best feedback of any priming tool that I've used so far. All right, now that we've primed all the cases, it's time to charge them with powder. We're going to be using Varget powder from Hodgdon. We're going to use the LEE Deluxe Perfect Powder Measure and the LEE Safety Powder Scale. And I'm going to show you multiple options for either a really quick way or a really precise way to charge the cases. The LEE Safety Powder Scale is comprised of the pan, the beam, and the base. The first thing we're going to want to do is going to be to take the beam and place it on the base so that it can pivot. Then we can take the pan, hang that off the end, and now we set the zero. There's two different adjustments. The gross adjustment, which is graduated in increments of 10 grains, and then the fine adjustment, which was incremented in single grains and tenth of grains. So we're going to move the ball all the way to the zero position, and then we're going to set our 0 to 10 and tenth grain increments. So here's the up close view. We've got our pin pulled out, which means that we can slide this freely. And what we're going to want to do is show the 0 above the little arrow here, and then you can see how these white graduated marks line up with the tenth of grain value that you're currently at. So we're going to set that and then push the pin in, which locks this fine adjustment. Now we can adjust the beam scale until it's a good and solid 0. If the marks don't align at 0 here, there's a brass fine adjustment screw here, and you just adjust it back and forth until you get a good, solid, and steady 0. Now that the scale is zeroed, we can set it to our charge weight and then check our charge once we get charged cases. So I'm using a charge weight of 21.5 grains, so I need to move the ball over to the 20 position. So now we're at 20, and now we need to add 1.5 grains over on the fine scale. I'm going to pull the adjustment pin, and then move it over until the 1 is showing in the window, and then keep moving it over until the 5 is lined with the white hash mark, and push our pin in again. That locks the fine adjustment. Now we're ready to drop some charges and see where we're at, adjust the powder measure accordingly until we're zeroed out. Okay, so I've got the Deluxe Perfect powder measure mounted in one of the breech lock bushings. You can also mount this powder measure in a stand that LEE sells. So multiple options depending on kind of what style you want to employ there. We're going to take the lid off. I've got this rotated to the on position, just double checking there. And we'll go ahead and fill it with the varget. There we go. This powder measure employs a metering bar with a capacity of 0 to 8.5 cc's. I looked at the chart that came with the Deluxe Perfect powder measure and calculated for this charge I need a little over 1.5 cc's of powder volume. So I'm just going to hold the lever down, and then we're going to go just over 1.5 and see where we're at based on what we've set our scale to. Here we're using the press more or less as a base for the powder measure. So to charge a case, all we need to do is hold the brass up into the inverted cone feature on the bottom of the powder measure, lift the lever on the powder measure, that charges the drum, and then lower it, that charges the case. I can see here that we have powder in the case. Now we can check it on the scale. All we need to do to check our charge weight is empty the contents of the case into the pan. Now we're going to see where we're at with the pointer. The pointer looks like just above, so our charge weight is a little high. Let's adjust that and dump another charge. So here we go. We'll just dial that down just a little bit and then dump another charge. After I make an adjustment, I like to charge a couple cases, dumping the contents back in just to make sure that everything has stabilized like it will stabilize when we're going through a bulk charging process. Okay, let's check that on the scale. So again, we're going to dump the charge from the case into the pan and see where the scale stabilizes. So I can see right away, this has got magnetic damping, by the way, so it's going to stabilize the alignment marks, the beam, and still give you the sensitivity that you're going to want. So we're under here. This is a great opportunity to show you the trickling method. When we're charging cases, we can do it one of two ways. We can either dump the charge from the powder measure and live with the variance, which I measured for varget in the Deluxe Perfect powder measure as less than plus or minus 0.1, which is quite adequate for most even precision rifle shooting applications. Or we can throw slightly under and then trickle powder in each time until just kind of granule by granule until the alignment marks align, which we're at here. Now we can use a funnel to pour the contents of the charge from the pan back into the case. So I decided I'm just going to dump the powder charge each time manually without the trickle up method because I'm happy with the plus or minus 0.05 grain variance that I'm seeing here. And I'm just going to live with that. One of the things that's nice about this powder measure is you can actually hear the powder filling the drum and then filling the case. Tells me just when I can move the case out from under the powder measure. Well, that one's smooth. We got all of our cases charged, and right now I'm going to take the opportunity to just do a quick visual down the neck, looking down into the case mouth for each of these, just to make sure that I've charged them all with powder and that they're all looking like they're at the same level. Just a sanity check. Looks like we're good there. So it's time to see bullets. Let's set up the die and do that. So we're going to remove the powder measure, and then I'm going to show a method that I recently showed in a quick tip video, and that's the using a completed cartridge with seated bullet that you want to mimic with the new die that you're setting up. Okay, so we're just going to screw this in. It's going to go all the way down to the shell holder. Okay, and then we're going to tighten the lock ring so it snugs down. Okay, back the seating plug out. Insert the cartridge whose bullet seating depth we want to mimic. This is the same bullet that we're using, so we're essentially duplicating the cartridge. Screw the seating stem down. Now we're going to go just a little bit more to account for the compression of the whole assembly in the press. Now we can start to seat bullets. We'll check our seating length, make sure that we're right on track. So let's see where we ended up at. Now we can take this priming lever out because it's not needed for this stage. That's just going to make it easier to get the case into shell holder each time. Okay, seat a bullet. Now let's take a quick measurement with our cartridge to duplicate. We're at 22195. I'm just going to zero that out right there, and then let's see where we're at with our freshly loaded cartridge. So it looks like we're too long, so we're just going to crank this down just a little bit more. Remember that little bit more? Yeah, we got to go even just a little bit farther. Okay, and we're at 0. So we are good to go. We can just take a case each time, take a bullet each time, and go ahead and seat that bullet. Well, I've got everything laid out just how I like it now. I'm in a groove, and we're just about done here with the first group of 50, the first batch, neck only sized. There we go, our last one. Well, there we go. We're done with our first set of precision reloads with the LEE Deluxe Challenger kit. We neck only sized. I've already got a load that's working really well. We're talking half MOA in the Thompson Center Compass rifle with our progressive loaded ammunition. I can't wait to see how the precision reloading process and a little bit of load development will get those groups down in size even more. So stay tuned. In the next video, we're going to do some trigger time. We're going to talk about some results. As you can see, the LEE Deluxe Challenger kit comes with pretty much everything you're going to need to load precision ammunition. I just added a set of dies, a case gauge, and the trim die for the quick trim. Of course, you're going to need components as well, but it comes with all the fundamentals that you're going to need to load precision ammunition. So, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any of the action on ultimatereloader.com, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget, I got a detailed write-up and post with a lot more information, so click on that first link down in the video description. Till next time, happy shooting and happy reloading.